Sorry to start off like this, but something is literally tearing my nose up. Ow. Something is like tickling the shit out of me. You ever wanted to rip your own nose off? Alright. I'm better. I don't know if it was my hair or what. What's the weather? It's supposed to be cloudy. Well, at least it's warm. 80% humidity. Get on, man. I'll kill you. Good morning. I'm trying to see what's going on in the world. I ain't had a chance to check my phone the entire morning. Oh God. Y'all, I'm so excited for today. I'm going to work out. I swear to God, if this thing don't get out of here. It's like a little moth. It's flying around the car. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a moth in here. That's what's driving me freaking crazy. I'm going to go lift some weights this morning. Do you know that the job interview I was supposed to have this morning at 6:30 texted me at 4:15 a.m. and said that they couldn't do the interview? That's the fucking job market now. I said, do what? I woke up at 5:15 because I had set an alarm because I knew I had that appointment or interview. And I look at my phone and it's a text message that says, it was at 4:15 it was sent, a.m. It said, we will be unable to do an interview today. Period. That was it. End of explanation. This kid up in, I think it's Charlotte, Hickory, Catawba, listen, Catawba County. This kid shot and killed somebody. He's facing first-degree murder charges. Guess what his bond is? $200,000. Do you know what my bond was back in 2009? $250,000. And I didn't even kill anybody. He killed somebody, and his bond is $200,000. First of all, once again, we do not give bond to murderers. We do not give bond to rapists. This is how North Carolina is becoming a liberal city, a liberal state. He shot and killed someone. They're charging him with attempted first-degree murder, and the guy didn't die, sorry. And his bond was only $200,000. But clearly, if they're charging him with attempted first-degree murder, that means that it was premeditated, which means that he planned this. $200,000 is not acceptable. $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, maybe. It's crazy. 20-year-old Garen Killen from Lenore is facing first-degree murder charges. And this was a mass shooting. This happened June 1st at a house party in Catawba. Why couldn't they just call it Charles County? It left 1 man dead and 11 others injured. So 12 people, 1 person died, and 11 others were injured. And his bond is $200,000. But this ain't no liberal state. Are y'all crazy? Some of y'all are crazy and y'all don't even realize you're living in a democratic state. $200,000 for killing and injuring 11 other. 1 and 11. Crazy. If that was me, I'd have no bond. And because of actions like that, judges that give these perps slaps on the wrist and magistrates that give them light bonding, okay, because of that, these problems are going to get worse. Mark my words. Because there's no discipline in this state anymore. Hasn't been since 2021. They don't punish criminals. They just lock up innocent people. Crazy. I called it last year. I said it. Now the fun starts. Let's see. One shot and killed at the Circle K on Yanceyville Street in Greensboro day before yesterday. 2 arrested after a murder of somebody at a Greensboro culture lounge. 3 suspect dead in possible, what is this? Gang retaliation. Oh, gang retaliation. Okay, love that. Greensboro this was day before yesterday. Greensboro police are investigating an overnight shooting with injuries. Yeah, I'd say it's gotten worse. There's an article every other hour. It used to be every other day. Now it's every other hour. My, what 6 months can do to a city. I called it. Man found dead from a shooting on West Camel Street. 29-year-old man killed in a shooting in Greensboro. Another one killed on Elm Street. Well, just know all the killers got less than $200,000 bond. It's fucking comical. I mean, it really is. It's like, it's so preposterous. It's comical. 4-year-old seriously injured after suspect shot into a crowd at Douglas Park in Greensboro 3 weeks ago. You can't even go to the park here. Everybody just out here now shooting up. Shooting up and killing each other. That's what they do. God, they got murders that they're looking for damn conclusions to. It says that they have like this one kid that was killed last year. It says murder remains unsolved almost a year later. So that tells me not to go die in Greensboro because they won't give a fuck nor investigate whoever murdered you. They're understaffed majorly. The Greensboro Police Department has been struggling for years. All departments are struggling. Greensboro parents charged with first-degree murder of a 16-month-old baby. What would make you think that these... Hold on. No, not them. They didn't kill anybody. How dare you say that? They look like normal, contributing members of society. What did they do? They were charged with murdering their child. When police arrived at the 600 block of Kennett Road, this was last year, December? When? November. When the police arrived, they found the 16-month-old baby unresponsive. They tried to give the baby life-saving measures, but it did not work. The baby was pronounced dead. They were charged with felony child abuse, inflicting serious physical injury. What about death? Are y'all not going to charge them with murder? They got to have evidence to do that. They must not have any. And that was just updated a week ago. So, and there's no, per usual, the child's name's not in here. The parents' names are not in here. You heard me right. The parents' name, these two mugshots are up, but there is no name on here. Get out of here. There is no name on here. So how do I find these people? Thanks, media. Hold on, here we go. At the very top, in tiny little letters, Nakia Shingleton and Barry Williams. I get so sick of Google, y'all. They look insane. They look absolutely insane, both of them. So it looks like they appeared in court a week ago. It was their 16-month-old daughter, and they were finally charged on Wednesday with first-degree murder charges. I was wondering, like, what the fuck is going on? So they were charged this past Wednesday, 1 week ago. Two Greensboro parents accused of killing their 16-month-old daughter appeared before a judge on Wednesday to face new first-degree murder charges. There we go. At least they're doing something right. The child was taken to the medical examiner's office in Chapel Hill. The medical examiner noted that she looked to be a victim of chronic, intentional child abuse. Jesus Christ, go back. Nakia Singleton, 25, and Barry Williams, 30, appeared virtually before Judge Bill Davis for the first time on new murder charges tied to the November death of their daughter, Alexis. There's a name. They shouldn't even print nothing if it don't have names. The female, Singleton, was seen crying and distraught during the first appearance. Alexis was just 16 months old when she was found unresponsive in her home on Kenneth Road around 3:49 p.m. on November 6th. She died on the scene. Prosecutors said the medical examiner noted that the 16-month-old had bruises on her head and body. That doesn't mean anything. I think that it's so stupid that people have gotten so stupid. Children have bruises, children get hurt, children break legs, children scrape knees. Just because this child had bruises on them does not mean that that was intentional child abuse. They need to do a better autopsy and crack that chest open and figure out how this baby died. And for them to charge the parents with first-degree murder, they're going to have to prove that this was intentional. So they're going to have to come up with something better than bruising, or otherwise these parents are going to get off. It's crazy. We did get this autopsy back, which noted about 10 different... Okay, now this is different. How you going to say bruises? And then head injuries and bruises are different. Head injuries is more like blunt force trauma to the head, shaken baby syndrome. There's actually lacerations where the child's head is laid open on the outside, externally. This is different. We did an autopsy and noted about 10 different head injuries on this child. Internal, old, and new. So those are signs of abuse. That's wholly different than fucking bruises. Oh, I got chill bumps. So sad. Before the child's death, prosecutors said the child had been in foster care in Georgia and was returned to the Shingletons' custody. So it sounds like CPS had previously removed this child, but because of funding, they probably gave the child back to the parents. She weighed 16 pounds when she went back into the Singletons' care and lost nearly half of her weight by the time of her death. So they were starving this child too. At the time of her death, she weighed 10 pounds and was a victim of physical abuse. Listen to this. These parents were held without bond. You know why? Because they should not get bond. Murderers, rapists, actual child killers? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The two have another child in court, it was brought up that Williams has another matter with DSS involving the surviving child. Now, Williams is the man, Barry, the boyfriend or husband. What a piece of shit, both of them. They're at the Guilford County Jail. Oh, and they'll have a preliminary hearing or whatever to see if they qualify for the death penalty. First of all, I need more evidence that this was intentional to sign off on a death penalty case. I know how these things work. So, and I know how CPS works and the court system. I believe the autopsy, don't get me wrong. But still and yet, that's not enough evidence for a death penalty case, unfortunately. So, I don't know. That's sick. They're sick. And they look crazy. That's the crazy part, is they look crazy. Certifiably. Like, both of them should have been in straitjackets in a mental hospital. Am I lying? If you didn't see, I'll show you again. Good morning, Cecilia. Good morning, y'all. Dexter, hey. We don't do retracted messages on this channel. Let me tell you the rules before we get started this morning, because I'm not going to repeat myself again. Don't come here with any drama. I don't care who has to say what about me. I don't give a fuck. No retracted messages. We'll get it. Keep it respectful. If you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. Because if you say it behind your keyboard, I'm gonna block you. I wish you would say it to my face. I wish you would. Yeah. These they're out of Greensboro. They were arrested in November, and then they had a hearing this past Wednesday, and they initially charged them with felony child abuse, and I was like, why? This baby died. They were probably collecting evidence for first-degree murder charges, because this past Wednesday, which is what, if they got arrested in November, it's been like 6-7 months, you know? So 6 months later, at their hearing for felony child abuse, they were also charged with first-degree murder. And this was after the autopsy came out, and they declared that this child had internal, external, and new wounds to the head. Serious injuries. These are, you know, I don't even want to know. But, yeah, it was not minor. It initially read that they had bruises. And let me tell you why that bothers me. Because there could be any reason for a bruise. I can hit my elbow on the steering wheel and get a bruise. I can hug somebody too hard and get a bruise. I don't know. You know what I mean, though. And children, they get bruises. That is something that they get. Specifically the knees. I mean, my daughter once dropped an iPad on her forehead and had a bruise on her forehead from dropping an iPad on her face. Great. But they get dings and bruises and cuts and scrapes. That's what they do. But the problem is in society now is that children don't play like they used to. And so investigators and CPS, anytime they see a bruise or a mark, they just assume that you were beating on your child instead of your child having some honest, simple, innocent explanation. She was outside playing. Like in my case, my daughter was playing with a rubber ball. She stepped on it. She fell. She went to catch her fall and she broke her arm. There is a basic, simple explanation for what happened, but these investigators so many times get it wrong, get tunnel vision, and they go off of things that they consider evidence, which is not actually evidence, which would be a minor bruise. It's different if we're talking about a child having a black eye. That's completely different. But what I'm saying is for a child to have a small finger, what looks like a fingerprint, like a tiny little bruise, that is completely different. That is not child abuse. There's probably an honest explanation, innocent, as to why or how that child got that bruise. It's crazy that they take small things like that and they manipulate it and twist it to fit their narrative to harm parents. Children get minor scrapes, bruises, bangs. It's just what they do. So when I was reading that, and it was talking about these bruises were their evidence, absolutely not. That is not even that should not be legal in a court of law. I don't believe that it is. I don't think that I'm not saying that they haven't took somebody's children over bruises, because I'm sure that they have. But what I'm saying is it should not be considered as evidence. Now, the damage to her head, absolutely. Those internal and external wounds tell a story, and they give a timeline, especially if some of them were still in the process of healing. And blunt force trauma to the head, or getting beat in the head, having some kind of internal bleeding or something, that's not just going to heal up on its own. It's just so sad that baby had to go through that. And it sounds like the Department of Social Services had already been in there once, because it said that the child had just came back from Georgia from a foster home. So sad. Well, that's the thing, Cecilia. They don't anymore. They're in the house. They're on their phones. They're in the house. They're on their gaming systems. They're in the house. They're, doing whatever. They don't go outside and play anymore. And for CPS, when they run across a family with children that actually go outside and play, they don't know how to handle it, because not many children do that anymore, which is crazy. So you get a child like mine who loved to be outside. We were always outside. Who loved to be outside. And if she had a bruise, they would have said that I was beating her. You know what I mean? That's what they do. They take information, they twist it, and they try to make something out of fucking nothing to build a case against the parent. It's crazy. And then children like this, who I can clearly tell the parents were extremely unwell, whether it's drugs, whether it's alcohol, whether it's simply just mental health problems, that baby shouldn't have been in that house, judged by those mug shots. I think we can all agree, just by looking at the mug shots, that someone should have been checking on them people and that baby, and nobody was. Children like that will fall through the cracks, but children like mine, I'll never have an opportunity to be with, because society has twisted and lied and forged cases to try to destroy me. People are evil. It's crazy. Good morning. I wonder what evidence they have against them. In the Mayadan area of North Carolina, breaking news, there's a great plan to build 10,000 homes in the next 5 years. I called it. I told... Oh, well, this little small town ain't gonna be small no more, baby, and all y'all's prices are about to shoot the fuck up. Gas is gonna go up. Food is gonna go up. Groceries are gonna go up. And they're gonna have subdivisions all over here. Say goodbye to the sticks. This is the mountains of North Carolina about to disappear. Development is coming through. I knew it when they put in the highway. They built 73, and when they put that in like 10, 15 years ago, I actually assumed that these housing developments would have been here before now. I guess COVID set them back a few years, you know what I mean? Stop production. Stop construction completely. The cost of materials. So they're looking to build 10,000 homes between Greensboro and Mayadan. Probably right off of 73, 311 or whatever. 220? 220. 220. School's gonna get busier. They're gonna have to build a new school. There ain't but one high school. Well, I'm glad I got to enjoy 20 years here before it become commercialized. Damn. You know, what if I told you that we don't need no new homes? We just need the 1% to sell the homes that they own in their portfolios. Or these large corporations to start renting homes. Or selling them. We don't have a housing shortage. We have a greed problem. You should go visit Sullivan's Island up, down. You should visit Sullivan's Island and see how empty those houses are during the winter. There's not a soul on the entire island. There's thousands of houses, and they're all extra houses for the rich elites of Florida. Amelia's Island is the same way. It's empty 70% of the year. You walk by the houses and there's not even furniture in them. Do you know how much money you have to get your furniture shipped back to wherever you come from? Like, for real. You walk through in the summer, fully furnished. You walk through in November, everything's gone. It's spare homes. It's just vacationing homes. The whole island, 2 whole islands will be empty 70% of the year. And I wonder how much these new fancy homes they're going to build going to cost. What's the median price here? $400,000? Oh, people be asking me when I'm going to buy a house. When I get to heaven. Jesus has already got me a house waiting. Oh, that's funny. I would never spend $400,000 on a damn $150,000 house. You know what I mean? Y'all don't understand. So there was a plane crash over here in Moxville, Davie County, confirmed to be deadly. So this was the Sugar Valley Airport on Gilbert Road in Moxville around 12 a.m. The North Carolina State Highway Patrol responded minutes later, secured the scene, and started to contact the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA. According to the FAA, the plane involved was a Stinson 108 Voyager. 3 people were on board at the time. The plane crashed while doing a go-around. The pilot and a minor passenger died in the crash. The 3rd occupant sustained minor injuries. Could you imagine being the survivor of that? First of all, Travis Barker was in a plane crash. If you don't know who he is, he's one of the greatest drummers to ever exist. He was in Blink 182. He went down in a plane crash. I think he was going on tour. He was taking a plane to go to work and perform on stage, concert, and the plane went down. He survived. He had to get like skin grafts. He was burned over half of his body. I mean, it was really bad. It's a miracle he lived. But for 20, 30 years, he didn't fly. Because of that, he refused to get on a plane. And I mean, you can't blame him, but that's PTSD. Like, you would have a lot of trauma from experiencing that. I mean, imagine for a second just being up there and then all of a sudden that plane starts falling. You just falling 10,000 feet out the sky. And then you hit the ground. And you know it's coming. You know that you're about to make impact with the fucking ground and probably die. And that whole, I don't know how long it would take. A minute? 30 seconds? How long do you think that it would take to drop 10,000 feet on an airline flight that weighs thousands of pounds? I don't think it would take very long. Probably long enough for you to realize what was happening. Oh God, we're about to crash, and then boom. You know? Terrifying. The fact that somebody lived, boy, you better be thanking Jesus. So on Wednesday, officials with the NTSB will arrive to investigate and process the scene. Officials say the investigation will include tons of things. 72 hours of backtracking on the pilot. You know, they'll also get witness statements, flight tracking data, recordings of any air traffic control communications, aircraft maintenance records, weather forecasts, and actual weather and lighting conditions around the time of the accident. There's a lot of, it's a whole list of stuff. I mean, it's a huge list. So it sounds like they're going to do an investigation. Whoever lived, you better be counting your lucky stars. You better take that as a sign from God, because that's what it is. You better be listening to him, honey, because that was him telling you something. The fact that you lived, 2 people are dead and 1 is injured after a plane crash in the Piedmont Triad on Tuesday. Wait a second, they said it was Wednesday. Oh no, that's when they investigated it. They don't know why it happened. Go-arounds are common and can be planned or sudden. It can be a training maneuver, and it can be done deliberately, or it can be done as a response to mitigating factors, to say another plane that pulls out in front of them, or if an airplane is trying to land or take off. I don't know what a go-around is, but it sounds like some kind of move that you would do in a plane. Y'all, I'm about to go work out. What a day. Can you believe that heifer texted me at 4:15 this morning? I woke up, my alarm went off at 5:15, so it was an hour after they texted me telling me that they couldn't do the interview. And I looked at my phone and I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, I woke up and then I went back to bed. I was like, I'm not staying up for this. Like, I went back to bed for like another hour or two. Got up and did some reading for school. What I didn't tell, oh my God. Let me read this because there's a piece that I missed. North Carolina mass shooting suspect out on bond. 2 others wanted for attempted murder. The rabbit hole goes, this is the same story that I started on from Hickory, North Carolina. 5 suspects are now connected to a June 1st mass shooting at a house party in Catawba County that left 1 man and 11 others injured. Oh my God. First of all, hold on. Listen, can we start looking at people and profiling again? Because, no, not him. He didn't commit a mass shooting. You don't say. Joe Mama, good morning. You don't say. What gave it away? The neck tattoos. I can't wait to get my tattoos removed. The neck tattoos. Poor choices. Poor 20s, 30s, 20s, 30s. And what is going on with that mustache? Like, what in the Reno 911 is going on right now? This little shit killed somebody, shot 11 other people, and he's out on bond right now. I missed that. Sorry. My dyslexia. His name is Garon, Garon Killen, Killin. Killen? Listen, he's 20 years old. He's from Lenore. He's facing attempted first-degree murder charges connected to the shooting. He made his first court appearance this past Wednesday. He was given a $200,000 bond, which he paid, and was ordered to remain under electronic monitoring upon his release. Listen, how many times have we seen these electronic monitoring systems fail us? He shot and killed people, homie. And he's back out on the streets. Less than 24 hours after he committed the shooting. Sheriff Don Brown said at a press conference on Wednesday that he was, quote, infuriated that Killen was back out on the streets. But Sheriff, it's your department. You know what's funny is they act like they ain't cool with the magistrate. Let me tell you something about these departments. They sit around hee-heeing and ha-haing and talking about cases and talking about suspects, and they know each other extensively. Their kids play sports together. They go out playing golf together. They go out shooting the shit together at Chili's on Tuesdays. For the sheriff to act like he had no power in this situation of this perp getting released on a $200,000 bond, he is blowing smoke up your asses. All he would have had to do was make a phone call. Yeah, you're going to have one coming in. Deputies just picked him up for a mass shooting. No bond. Please. Respectfully. Like, some of y'all might be like, well, that's conflict of interest. That's illegal. They do it all the fucking time. Grow up. The Catawba County Sheriff's Office is still searching for 2 additional suspects in the connection with the mass shooting. Keandre Mack and Tolan Huff. Tolan. That little white boy name? Tolan Huff Jr. are both charged with attempted first-degree murder and considered armed and dangerous. What the world? Sorry about that. Yeah, what is going on right now? 2 additional suspects. So there's 5. Oh, wow, and he looked crazy. Look at that white boy. He look insane. I mean, the other one don't look good either, but what is going on with people out here? These mugshots just scream mental health problems. 2 additional suspects, Patrick Tolbert, 22, from Hickory, and Raekwon Craig, 21, from Taylorsville, was arrested and charged with 3 counts of aiding and abetting a person under the age of 21 by allowing the person possession of alcohol. What does this have to do with the murder case? Oh, I know. Let me tell you. They charging them with something, hoping that these little perps that are giving alcohol to juveniles, hoping that they'll snitch on their friends. Yeah, see, they were all hanging out together, and then the one kid committed the mass shooting. Well, apparently these other 2 guys gave alcohol to somebody that was under 21. The cops charged them with giving alcohol to minors, more than likely in hopes that they will work out a plea arrangement to get these charges dropped in exchange for snitching on the friend that committed the mass shooting. Do you get it? This is something common that they'll do in cases like this when the friends are refusing to talk. They'll charge them with something, and then they'll say, oh, well, sign this piece of paperwork. We'll give you a plea deal. You can be our main star witness, and we'll make these charges disappear. So the cops are probably trying to bait them with information and a plea deal. In my opinion, I don't know. I mean, you know, never know. Investigators have maintained that there were multiple shooters at the house party. The party included adults and people under 21 years of age. So the cops are thinking that there was multiple people that did this shooting. However, they've only charged 1 guy, and there's 4 other perps that it could be. And it sounds like somebody's going to start rolling soon. And I mean, they're 20 years old. Of course they're going to start fucking rolling. Nobody's loyal to themselves, much less their fucking friends. Why do you think I have none? Of course they're gonna snitch. So the 58-year-old man that was killed was 58-year-old Sean Hood of Lenore. More than 80 shots were fired. The crime scene extended from the street to the house to the backyard to the neighbor's yard. That was the crime scene. Because all the shell casings and bullets everywhere. Oh, and then 12 people were shot. 1 died. So just imagine 12 bodies laying everywhere. You know, people take off running. So imagine shots start firing off. People start running. People are getting hit. People are going down. The State Bureau of Investigation and the FBI are assisting with the investigation. What a bunch of idiots. And that's why I don't go to parties. So crazy. The moment you get around people and they got alcohol and God knows what in them, that's when shit goes south. It's just how it is. I've been wondering what was going on in North Carolina. They over here arguing over parking spots. The HOA is trying to not allow people in certain neighborhoods. They're trying to ban street parking because of the aesthetic. Yes, HOA says it looks tacky for people to have visitors and then be parked on the street in front of the visitor's home. So now they're making it, and people are firing back saying, this is crazy, we have to have somewhere to park. You probably shouldn't have moved to North Carolina. Yeah. I've been there, done that. We had HOA in Oak Ridge, so when we lived in Arbor Run, there was HOA and we had to pay fees. It was like $3,000 a year. That was for just to access the pool, and because like this neighborhood had like a pool and all of that crap. I don't know what it's called, like an event center. But HOA would send us notices. Like we had this wood plank that was part of the window frame. It was like a shutter. It came off of one of the huge, you would need a bucket truck to get up there. This home was over 2 stories tall. You would need a bucket truck to get up there to replace that piece of wood that was a window. I don't know what it was called. So they kept sending us notices telling us that we were going to have to face fines if we didn't get that piece of wood back up. Why would you want to move somewhere where people are going to penalize you and try to scam you just so you can look cool? Like, and HOA just said that the reason that they're trying to prevent these people in their neighborhood from parking in front of the homes is because of the, quote, aesthetics. So they care more about how the neighborhood looks than how the people in the neighborhood feel. $400-pound alligator captured in North Carolina on suspicion of being a dinosaur. Do you see why I can't be up here with these people? That is a real headline. I mean, it's funny because I know it's true. I know it was some old people like, oh my God, Barbara, look, there's a dinosaur in the creek. Like, first of all, that sheriff looks like most of them around here. That alligator is huge. 400 pounds. A massive offender with scaly intentions was nabbed by authorities after he was spotted loitering. You cannot make this shit up. I know they're trying to be funny, and it's funny. But the irony that they're in his home and they think that he's in their home, I think that's the funniest part. He was spotted loitering near the double yellow line on a roadway in North Carolina. Pete the Gator, weighing almost 400 pounds and measuring 10 feet long, was caught loitering off of the pavement in Jacksonville, North Carolina, around 120 miles south of Raleigh. He was just chilling and snapping and clearly ignoring the no loitering or lounging on roadway signs. They're trying to make a joke out of it, but a prehistoric perp has been cited for suspicion of being a dinosaur without proper papers. I cannot. Like, we have real problems in this state, and this is what they're doing with their time. I mean, it's cute, okay? It's cute, but like, we're letting murderers out of jail at the same time. Think about that. This is around the same time that they let that mass shooter out here. I got a prediction. I bet you before he has his court date, I bet you that he will be back in jail for something else. But he's on home arrest. So how would he get in trouble on home arrest? He'll figure out a way. He's 20 years old. Watch him go. Turn him loose. Watch him go. I bet you money before he has his first appearance or his appearances for his final appearance to get sentenced for this mass shooting. I bet you he'll be back in handcuffs and back in the news. Mark my words. So they took this 400-pound gator on a boat to a ramp at Camp Gregor a few miles away and released it back into the wild the next day. Look at these idiots. They are literally cutting up. The one guy, the bald guy's like, hey, just another day at work. Like, they even got a bag over the poor alligator's eyes like they're about to interrogate him. Like there's a bag over his head. Whoa. Those things can weigh up to 500 pounds and can reach 13 feet long. These animals are shy and secretive. You sure about that? Because I just had one that tried to eat my toes off a few ago. You sure? Because he didn't seem shy. He seemed like he wanted to be my pet or either eat me. I was sitting on the tailgate of the truck, and we were at this beautiful river in Jacksonville. It's a stream, and it's real murky. It's the exact place that you would see crocodiles or alligators. And sure enough, my feet are dangling off the tailgate. I'm talking to y'all on live, and I see something out of my peripheral. I look down, and it's a baby alligator that's probably that long with his little tail. He was so cute. But I'm going to tell you what, them teeth would have tore my toes up. It would have been an ER visit 100%. Them little razor sharp teeth. And then I jump up on the tailgate. He goes back into the water. He swims across the little canal. He's chilling. Somehow he made his way all the way back over to me and come out the water again. Determined little gator. Determined. Cute. But definitely want to mess me up. Good morning, y'all. I'm okay. Just taking it day by day. Nothing I can do, you know. Day by day. Getting all bent out of shape about losing my truck. Ain't gonna do me no good. Can't do nothing about it. I've done the best that I can. I almost want to send I'm not going to start shit. I'm not. About that job interview this morning. Oh, wow. 15-year-old boy charged with murder in the shooting death of a 13-year-old boy in Joliet. Where's Joliet? Joliet police said a 15-year-old boy has been arrested and charged with the murder of a 13-year-old boy shot to death in an alley on Monday. Officers were called to the 300 block of South Des Plaines Street in Joliet Monday shortly before 4:45 p.m., where they found the teen in an alley with a gunshot wound. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Wednesday, police arrested the 15-year-old boy, who said that he knew the victim and had been involved in an ongoing personal dispute with him. Police said that they believe the 15-year-old confronted the 13-year-old as part of this dispute and allegedly shot him twice during the confrontation. The teen was arrested Tuesday in the 600 block of Benton Street for aggravated battery, mob action, and disorderly conduct from a separate incident on May 6th. Where are the parents? My parents would have never let me run the streets like this. This is neglect. I want to be clear. When you are allowing your hellion to run the street like this, you're neglecting them. You should go to jail for neglect. While he was in custody, he was questioned about the shooting death of the 13-year-old. Did he have an attorney? He's a juvenile. What is going on? Surely he had a parent present. Surely. Otherwise, the whole fucking statement will have to be thrown out. Like, what are they doing? Surely they know what they're doing, right? The teen is currently in custody at the River Valley Justice Center. He's not been identified due to his age. The victim is identified as Miguel Mahan Perez. It is not known when the 15-year-old will go to court. I don't agree with holding these perpetrators' name, child or not. I don't agree with it. Now, if they were the victim of a crime, absolutely. But did you notice how the victim of the crime, they printed his name, but the perpetrator of the crime, they did not? They're still looking for that dad, you guys. The guy from Washington State that murdered his 3 daughters this past weekend, Friday. This is out of Central Washington State. He's wanted on... So his name's Travis Decker. He was 32 years old. He was a highly skilled, trained member of the military. He's currently not in the military. He was living out of a car. Him and his ex, they either split or went through a divorce. And before they split, they had three daughters, Peyton, Evelyn. They were 9, there was 3, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia. 9, 8, and I think like 4 years old. Somehow, he had weekend visits with these child, not overnight, because of his circumstances. He recently had mental health problems. He also had been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. He was refusing to take his medication. He was living out of a car. He was going through a lot, and in my opinion, he should have never been around those children. The court allowed him to have weekend visits, but it was only supposed to be for a few hours at a time. He would get the girls on Friday at approximately like 9 a.m. and then he'd bring them back Friday night at like 7 p.m. And I don't know the exact schedule. I'm just giving you an example. He picked the girls up on Friday and went missing. The mother of these children, his ex, immediately called investigators saying this is not normal. This is not like him. He's been really not doing well. They were able to locate his white GMC truck to a campground, and that's where they found the little girls' bodies. I think the saddest part is to know that these little girls put up a fight because they were zip tied. Their arms and feet were zip tied together. They were all suffocated. The autopsy determined that they suffered from asphyxiation. It is so reminiscent of the Chris Watts case, with that little baby saying, "No, daddy, don't. No, daddy, don't." Y'all, I'm getting chill bumps. It makes me angry because you can clearly see that he is unwell. He should have never been around those children. And so now my question is how are parents like that slipping through the cracks of DSS? I mean, did they not have enough workers? Are all systems down that bad? And I think that that's the case because their caseloads are ridiculous. I think they have a major problem with staffing, like most first responders. Even though I don't consider them first responders, I consider them the devil. But you know what I mean? Like, why did a court deem him fit to even be seeing these children? If anything, he should have had supervised visitation. Good morning, Critter. What is going on? I just ignore it. Just ignore it, y'all. The reason I'm ignoring it now is because I want y'all to see the evils of the world. So they were 9, 8, and 5 years old. Their father did not return them after a planned visit on Friday. They found his white GMC Sierra with Washington plates at the park. And they found the girls' bodies about 75 to 100 yards away from the truck. Police believe the girls died from asphyxiation. So I guess they're still waiting on the autopsy. And they reported that their wrists were zip tied. And I read another report that their feet were zip tied too. So in the media, don't come here saying I'm getting stuff wrong. I'm reading off a screen that the media wrote. It's their job to get it right, not mine. They're the ones that got a bachelor in journalism, like, not me. People get mad at me because I get facts wrong. I always try to go back and say, hey, I got this wrong. Even if it's a week later and I find out something new, I come back and I'm like, you guys, I was wrong. The mother told detectives, quote, she expressed concerns because Decker reportedly has never done this before, but is currently experiencing some mental health issues. So, I mean, listen, a part of me is angry at the mother because, girl, if you knew that he was this bad off, why the fuck did you let him have the children? You wanted to go out and enjoy your evening? Is that what it was? You wanted some mommy time? Listen, I'm trying not to be judgmental, but it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. I'm just being honest on this one. It's hard. Good morning, Tracy. I hope you're doing well, Critter. Somebody was asking about you last night. They were like, have you seen Critter? I said, yeah, yesterday. I said, I think he's busy. He's got a lot going on. He helps a lot of people out. Like, hold on, what is this? Australian prosecutors claim Aaron Patterson invented the guest list to launch and serve them beef Wellington laced with mushrooms. Like psychedelic mushrooms. Hold on, we gotta read this. First of all, once again, let's take a gander at this mugshot, because this ain't even a mugshot, and you can tell that this bitch is unwell. Unwell as hell. How much more unwell does it get? Hair falling out, greasy hair, face swollen, bags under the eyes, pale. She's so white. She hasn't seen sunlight ever. Not well. So what happened? This woman is from Australia. Her name is Erin Patterson, sorry. I love Jordan. So she is accused. Oh, she killed her husband with mushrooms? Her estranged husband's relatives, through her defense, said that it was a terrible accident. So she's 50. Hey, she don't look bad for 50. I thought she was like 25. That's how they look nowadays. Shut up. People are not well. So she's 50. She was estranged from her husband, Simon Patterson, on July 29th of 23, when prosecutors claimed she invited his family over to discuss recent medical concerns at an adults-only lunch. Mr. Patterson's 70-year-old parents, Don and Gail Patterson, and Gail Patterson's sister, Heather Wilkinson, 66, died days after ingesting beef Wellington, prepared and cooked by Erin Patterson, in her Victoria home. So, were these psychedelic mushrooms or clearly poisonous mushrooms? She poisoned his whole family and killed them all. I'm not laughing. I'm shocked. Heather Wilkinson's husband, Ian Wilkinson, 71, fell ill but somehow survived after weeks of medical treatment. How many people did she kill? Erin Patterson, an Australian mother of two, facing 3 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder. She lived in Leogathia, about 85 miles south of Melbourne. I know Melbourne, I'm familiar. Huge problems there, specifically methamphetamine. Where she reportedly foraged wild mushrooms as part of a years-long hobby. She also began collecting edible fungi from botanic gardens. Miss Patterson's told the court she regularly bought the mushrooms back home and processed them in a food dehydrator, preserving them to use in a dish throughout the year. She said in court that she frequently mixed wild mushrooms with those purchased from the store. So they weren't psychedelic mushrooms, but they were poisonous mushrooms. By July 29th of 23, Erin Patterson's marriage to Simon had deteriorated. There existed disagreements between them over child support and the kids' schooling, and the in-laws reportedly acted as mediators between the two parties, which was why she invited them over to her home for a sit-down dinner. I wonder if she knew they were poisonous. This is... So Erin drops her kids off, ages 9 and 14, for a movie outing with one of their friends before lunch. And so Erin's a piece of shit. No, we do not drop 9-year-olds off to be unsupervised in a movie theater. I don't care if they do have a 14-year-old with them. Absolutely not. We don't need to be dropping 14-year-olds off in public places by themselves nowadays. So she drops these 2 underage children off with their friends at the theater, and then she goes home and murders her ex-husband's family. Now I'm thinking she did it intentionally because she dropped her children off in a public space with no parental guidance. 14 is too young to be by themselves unsupervised. I don't care. I will always stand by this. We can start doing that when you get a job. When you get a job and you're responsible enough to work, then you're responsible enough to go off with your friends on Friday night to go to the theater and see a movie. 14 years old is too young. especially nowadays. All these pedophiles out here just looking for an opportunity to walk into a theater and introduce yourself to their self to your child. So let's see. For the fateful lunch date, Erin Patterson admitted in court that she intended to use the poisonous mushrooms in the beef Wellington meal, but denied having any knowledge that they were toxic. So she admitted to using the mushrooms, but she claimed that she didn't know that they were poisonous. Okay. That's why I was saying, I wonder if she knew. She knew. She knew. Let me tell you how I know she knew. Because she's been studying mushrooms and collecting mushrooms for years. She even said herself that she likes to pick and forage for mushrooms, and then she'll save them, dry them out, and use them in dishes all around the year. So she knew the basics of mushrooms. She knew the dangers of mushrooms. For those that don't know, I think there's approximately like 350,000 different mushrooms, and a good portion of those are actually poisonous. I could be wrong on those numbers. It's been a long time since I've been to horticulture school, 10 years. So there's a lot, though. There's hundreds of thousands of mushrooms, and a good portion of those are poisonous. So she knew the game. She knew enough to know better. The exact origins of the mushrooms in question remain unclear, whether from foraging or an Asian market in Melbourne. Well, if they were poisonous, honey, they didn't come from a damn Asian market in Melbourne. You think you can just go pick these up at your local farmer's market? The defendant described one purchase from the city grocery being very pungent. Girl, bye. So now, that's her defense. They're going to say she accidentally bought these mushrooms at a market in Melbourne. So the name of this mushroom, y'all know I ain't going to be able to say it. Amanta phallalides. Listen. Phallalides. Listen. Better known as the death cap mushroom. Oh, wow. Are a deadly fungus that accounts for 90% of mushroom-related deaths. She knew. She knew exactly what to look for, exactly what to put in the food. 90% of mushroom-related deaths are because of this specific strand of mushroom that she used in the beef Wellington. In my opinion, she knew. This was intentional. Dropping the kids off, calling a adults-only dinner, inviting everybody in the family over. Like, in my opinion, this was premeditated. In my opinion. Plant pathologists, hold on one second. Indigenous to the United Kingdom and Ireland, these mushrooms had been sporadically introduced to areas such as North America and Australia. Plant pathologist Milton Dott of the U.S. Department of Agriculture told the magazine that although death cap mushrooms are relatively safe to the touch, consuming the fungi prevents the body from creating protein, thus causing liver and kidney failure. Holy shit. So you eat them and you go into kidney and liver failure. The symptoms? An onset of symptoms of death cap mushroom poisoning beginning 8 to 12 hours after consumption can include low blood pressure, vomiting, nausea. Symptoms often appear to disappear, sometimes for up to 72 hours before organ failure begins, killing the victim 3 to 6 days after ingestion. New fear unlocked. So you think you got the food poisoning because you're shitting your brains out and throwing up, and your body is really going into liver and kidney failure, organ failure. It kills you 3 to 6 days after you eat them. And it says the symptoms will go away, so you think you're getting better, and then you drop dead. Terrifying. Be careful eating at people's houses. Especially if y'all have beef and they're serving beef. Oh my God. So let's see here. Erin Patterson's mother-in-law, Gail Patterson, she died 6 days after the lunch on August 4th after multiple organs shut down due to altered liver function, a direct result of the toxic mushrooms. Erin Patterson's father-in-law, Don, was a former high school teacher who retired in 2000. He died one day after his wife in the same manner. The couple left behind 4 adult children. Heather Wilkinson was a mother of 4 and the young sister of Gail. She was a teacher's aide. Aaron Patterson's meal was served on a different colored plate than the others. Her husband would later tell the court. Miss Wilkinson died in the early morning hours of August 4th of 2023. Heather Wilkinson's husband, Ian Wilkinson, had served as a pastor. This woman is evil. You taking out pastors and teachers? Do you know how bad we need them right now? He survived. That was the only surviving person, was this Ian Wilkinson, which was the husband. So she's been charged with attempting to murder Simon. Did he not die? Aaron Patterson was charged with attempting to murder Simon Patterson at the lunch, though the charges were eventually dropped at the start of the trial. She initially invited her husband, who lived away from home, though he declined. She invited her own husband at the time, too. She was going to take him out, too, and he declined to come to eat. She was trying to kill everybody. Oh my God, let me read you this text exchange between them. So this was Aaron Patterson, the one that was charged with murder, and all of these people. In response to Aaron Patterson's invitation, Simon Peterson texted the following. So this was her ex. She was also trying to take him out. So it sounds like it was the 4 people that came. It was Simon's parents and Simon's aunt and uncle. Simon didn't come. That was the ex-husband. Simon replied to Aaron saying, "Sorry, I feel too uncomfortable about coming to lunch with you. Mom, Dad, Heather, and Ian tomorrow, but I'm happy to talk to you about your health implications another time, or health and implications of that another time. If you'd like to discuss over the phone, just let me know." So Simon clearly knew that she was dangerous because he refused to come and eat with her. And he even said, "I feel uncomfortable about coming to lunch with you." Aaron replies, the murderer with the mushrooms, the murderous mushroom witch, "That's really disappointing. I've spent many hours this week preparing this lunch tomorrow." I bet you did, girl. I bet you spent lots of hours picking mushrooms. "It's been exhausting in light of the issues I'm facing, and I spent a small fortune on beef eye fillet to make beef Wellington because I wanted it to be a special meal, as I may not be able to host a lunch like this again for a long time." So she baited these people with health problems. She told them that she was sick and she wanted to have them over and blah, blah, blah. And so they were all coming over to talk about her health problems. You need to rewind to the beginning of this video. So she was really trying to bait him over there to kill him with this beef Wellington. This is crazy. This bitch is psycho. Beef Wellington murder case. 3 days ago. Here's what she faces. Pop-ups. So she told the whole family that she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and that's why they were coming over to talk to her. And her ex-husband, he says, "I'm uncomfortable. I'm not coming over there." But his whole family goes over there, and 3 out of 4 people die. The jury in her triple murder trial also heard that she was never diagnosed with ovarian cancer. So she literally lied to these people to get them in her house so that she could kill them. She's pled not guilty. She claims that this was a terrible, tragic accident. Who believes that? Does anybody? I mean, some of y'all might. I don't. I don't. I can take one look at her and see that she was miserable. I can see that she was unhappy and that she was probably trying to get back at her ex-husband and take his whole... Clearly, she took him out. So, no, that is a face of miserable. And people that are miserable become petty, angry, and they want to get back at you. What did I say? People like that don't get the reaction that they want from a person turn violent. They want to destroy someone because that person did not behave the way that they wanted them to, which is so immature. That shows you where she's at 50 years old. She's still stewing over a marriage that ended years ago, at least 9 years ago, you know, the last time they had sex, because their oldest is 9. We don't know the dynamics, but you get what I'm saying. She been sitting there stewing for years and was ready to kill somebody, and that's what she did. This was no accident. This was premeditated, in my opinion. I can take one look at you and tell you who she is. And then the news report helps me fill in all the gaps. She just killed 3 people with a plate of food, homie. Food is supposed to bring us together, not take us out. It's supposed to unite us, not take us out. What a sick bitch. And this is why you don't eat at everybody's house. Oh my God, these poor people. Look at these poor little old people. Yo, how could you take them happy, smiling faces off this earth? They look happier than she ever looked. What a sick bitch. People like that, they'll rot in hell. They'll rot in hell. Y'all, I'm going to work out. Oh, God. I got a test tomorrow. I got to study tonight. I want to see if I can get like 100. My goal will be 98. My goal will be 98. I got a 96 last week, and then the week before that I got a B. But I'm really trying to focus on getting good grades. I want to just do the best that I can, you know? I just want to do the best that I can. The school that I'm going to, they don't have like regular graduation ceremonies. They don't do like valedictorian, I forget how to say it. Hip hop anonymous. They don't do stuff like that there. They'll mail me my degree or whatever, but I won't get the regular college experience, which I don't need. But I am grateful that my education is free, and then I found out a way to get into school and not have to spend a bunch of money. You can go to school for free. There's dozens, if not hundreds, of degrees that you can get for free. You just got to think outside the box and do your research. So I'm glad that the school helped me. Oh God, here. But like, I'm glad that I didn't take out a loan and stay here, because I've only been back for like 24 hours and I've been absolutely miserable. I don't have resources here, you know. There's nothing to do here. Sit in the Walmart parking lot, and you can't do that but for so long. So there's nothing to do here. North Carolina is not a state for people like me. You know, it's just not. North Carolina is a state for people that want to be in the house. I don't want to be in the house. I want to be outside doing something. Always. For the rest of my life. I love you guys, and I hope y'all have a good morning. I'm going to go work out, and we'll talk this afternoon. I hope that y'all have a good morning. Y'all be safe out there. Bye, y'all.